Alrighty, folks, today is April 20th, and as you can see, folks, the forecast memo is chock full of weather today because we have some very interesting weather coming up. First of all, I told you that your thoughts, once you saw this forecast video, hold on, would be something comparable to, wait, computer's doing its typical things, to this face. Okay, that's what you're going to feel as we move on for this forecast video. And today's highs, we're essentially going to be in the 70s for most areas, 60s a little bit farther to the south, and today's, of course, Friday. Now, this was pretty much over with, probably by the time you're watching this video. So what will the next couple of days be like? Well, let's start off on Saturday. Essentially, just a little bit of rain moving in off to the west. Could have some thunderstorms in the afternoon for areas from Roanoke to south central Pennsylvania. They probably won't be severe. Sunday's when things get interesting. The rain moves up from the south, and then overnight Sunday, a nor'easter develops and pushes north. Now, there's a lot of model huggers who are like obsessed, like, oh my god, the storm looks weaker. Well, that's because earlier it was 5 days out, and it could have weakened or strengthened, and right now it still looks like quite the beast. And could it change? Of course it can change. Will it change? Probably. But here's what I'm thinking right now in terms of how the nor'easter will impact us. Starting late Sunday night, going through the day on Monday, moving south to north. Basically, it's going to, I guess you could say, make landfall, but it's not like it's really an organized storm system. The low pressure center will end up moving right around parallel to the coast. To the east of it, there'll be a very strong tropical tap with downpours and thunder heading into southern New England. Winds will be gusting over 50 miles an hour and up to just around hurricane force. Now you say, Nick, where'd you get that from? No one's ever predicting winds this far out, and nobody ever, it's rare to see a wind forecast that high. Well, let's take a look at what the latest NAM model has. And by the way, 30 to 50 mile an hour wind gusts to the west over most of the mid-Atlantic, where the winds won't be quite as strong because you won't be seeing quite the tap. See, this is basically 850 millibar wind speeds in knots. Because the storm will be raining so heavy, because it'll be raining so heavy during the storm, the raindrops will be bringing the strong winds from the top of the atmosphere at 850 millibars down to us. So what you see up here will be down here when it rains real heavy in the form of a gust. So how fast are these winds? This is at 2 a.m. on Monday. Well, the red indicates winds about 70 knots. And as you go through the morning hours of Monday, by 7 a.m. Monday morning, 8 a.m., we have lots of reds showing up. Now, if you zoom your way all the way in here, and I don't know how you can see this, so I'll just tell you what ends up happening. You can see, I don't know if you can see the little 76 around the southern part of Rhode Island. That's how strong it gets, 850 millibar. A 76 knot wind gust. That's about 85 miles an hour. Now, do you see why my 50 to 75 miles an hour is very much justified? Okay? Meanwhile, the storm, looking similar to the snowcane, is moving up northward. Now, there's a little bit of discrepancy. The NAM, Euro, GFS, all different models have been moving in different directions. Basically, in New England, you're worried about wind damage. To the west, you're worried about rain, about 2 to 4 inches, I think, in most of the mid-Atlantic. And to the far west, guess what you're going to be looking at? Snow. How much snow? It's too early to say right now. And I know you guys hate that. You're like, Nick, tell me how much snow there'll be. How am I supposed to tell you how much snow there'll be when we are at least, well, coming on tomorrow when you're probably watching this video, it's 48 hours out. But when I'm recording this right now, it's more like 60 hours out. And there is lots of discrepancy amongst the models and how much snow falls. All I can tell you right now is plowable. How much is that? 3 inches or greater. But someone could see up to a foot somewhere. Okay? So just keep that in mind. Moderate rain in between western Pennsylvania. Now, one thing to keep in mind, right around southeast of Richmond, probably a dry slot in between the low pressure center and the western shield of precipitation. That could become quite massive and cut down on rain totals eastward to about the northern part of Chesapeake Bay and around Suffolk, Virginia. But tidewater all the way north and east, all the way into New England, you're looking at about 2 to 4 inches of rain. There's talk of a drought buster, and I think it's quite justified. Whenever someone says drought buster, they don't mean that the drought will be gone. They just mean that it'll be significantly lessened. And that's the way things look right now. But that's pretty much it. You're going to be seeing significant amounts of rain, wind, and snow. For more details, stay tuned.